All right, we want to begin and give Ed as much time as possible tonight. Ed Hilton, I will let you introduce yourself, but if you read the announcement, Ed is not a native of Gulfport. He married into it. He was stationed at Keesler Air Force Base where he met his wife, who turns out is the granddaughter of Clarence Welch. And he is a true history buff because he took a course on research and theories and research of history just for fun. And so he's been very interested in research in Gulfport, and he's returned here now after being gone for 18 years. And he's specializing in a couple of areas, but one, of course, is the memorabilia and the information that he has for us who remembered the Sno-ball popcorn king. Okay, Ed, thank you so much.
Thank you. I'd like to thank everybody for being out here tonight, and I want to introduce some members here of Mr. Welch's family. His sister Ruth Welch, okay, and his daughters Mildred and Mary, who used to work the stand, as they call it. Like Faye said, I'm not from Gulfport originally. I was stationed at Keesler. I met my wife Deborah, and she was interested in family history and genealogy, and that's what started it all. So while she was working on the genealogy, I figured, well, let me do some history on the family business, and that expanded not only the stand, but also Gulfport itself. So I started delving into Gulfport history up to the present and back to the original roots of it. So right now I'm doing a presentation on Clarence Welch, the Popcorn King, a small business but a big impact to Gulfport. Hope you enjoy it. Hope some of these pictures can bring back some memories for you. So let's take a look at the history of the Popcorn King. Okay, 13 July 1903, Mr. Welch was born in Circleville, Ohio, and in 1925 relocated to Gulfport. It wasn't only him, but the entire Welch family moved down. And in 1926 he married Susie Wallace, and he worked as a janitor in Central Ward Junior High School in Gulfport.
Okay?
Yes, that's fine. So he worked as a janitor in Central Ward Junior High School in Gulfport. That's the side of where now is the courthouse building. So he was there. His original job was as a janitor, but he had dreams of developing his own business. His first stand, the very first one, was basically composed of plywood boards on sawhorses. He bought his first popcorn popper and the popcorn seed from Frankie Price for $35. That's what started it all. And he sold popcorn and roasted peanuts. That's his beginning, popcorn, roasted peanuts. And like I said, he would come up every night, every day. He would set up the sawhorses, put plywood boards there, and he sold from there. So every day he set it up, and every night he tore it down. It's not a fixture. Trying to get used to this right here. Might be easier if I just set this down. Come on. The first stand was located on 14th Street and 25th Avenue, in front of the Parlor Drugstore, Stragus Candies. And this right here, if you look, you can see this part was the part of the tables he had set up. So that was the first stand that Mr. Welch set up, where he sold popcorn and peanuts. Then he relocated. This is a newspaper article. Popcorn King new location. With new equipment moved to corner of 14th Street and 25th Avenue. Jolly Time popcorn, peanuts, and corn candy. Like a caramel corn. Different flavors. So they relocated across the street in front of Glenn's Drugstore, which is now Tripidays. So that was his same first stand, plywood on sawhorses, relocated over there. Next, his father Nathan and him got together and he built the second stand. The second stand was a shed-like enclosure that was 5 feet by 8 feet, composed of a copper alloy sheet iron painted aluminum color, and enclosed in glass. He served from that. It contained a new popcorn popper and a peanut roaster, and he used Jolly Time popcorn, the popcorn of choice. And one of the secrets to Mr. Welch was, when he popped his popcorn, he popped it in small batches only. That way, you, the customer, received fresh popcorn every time. And here's the stand itself, located at 25th Avenue. Originally, it was in front of Coast Hardware, and then it later relocated a few feet down in front of Coast Brokerage. What I want to point out to you is, see this Coke box here? There's a red Coca-Cola box. There's a type you lift up and you had ice in it to keep the drinks cold. You'll see that later on. That followed him in his business. And this was taken in the 30s. Here's some other shots showing the stand right here. And if you look on this one, you see in the back the Hancock Bank building, the old Hancock Bank building. Some more shots. You see the children enjoyed the wares. And he also had mobile carts too. If I believe right, if I'm correct, he used to take it to the airport, old airport, and he had his business there also. So he was not restricted to just one location. He was mobile. Here's another nice shot, looking north on 25th. Once again, you see the Hancock Bank building in the background. And you can see the stand itself was not really large. It was on wheels and it's sort of elevated so it could be moved. There it is in front of Coast Hardware. And there's some young ladies enjoying the concessions on their bicycles. Now, after a while, he had the desire, he wanted more fixed structure. So, he picked 2500 and a half 13th Street. Okay? 2500 was the Grider Shoe Store, the old Kramer building, right? Originally the State Bank of Gulfport. Then on the other side, you had Marshall's Bookstore. You had in between a 5-foot wide space there. Looked like an alley. So in 1953, he rented it from Henry Kramer of Kramer Marine, and it was 5 feet wide, 15 feet deep. What he did was he painted the walls, the brick walls, white. He put in a false floor to allow for ventilation of drainage, water, and then he put a roof on there, and he put in a stainless steel door frame fitted with aluminum door and view window where he served from. It was self-contained with its own plumbing, heating, lighting, ventilation, and sufficient workspace. The menu expanded now from popcorn and peanuts to include cotton candy, snowballs, candy, gum, and soft drinks. So not only does his business expand, but so does his menus expand too. And here's some shots of it. Now remember I told you that Coke box on the second stand? There it is, in front. The same Coke box. And once again, only 5 feet wide. This is a stand that majority of you probably remember. Also, they had candy apples. And I'm sure that Mildred and Mary can recollect the times, the hours they spent bagging peanuts and making candy apples. And all this was hand done by him. Everything he did, he made himself. And that's a real nice shot right here showing him. football was Friday, October 30th, Notre Dame at Long Beach. And you had National Honey Week. Our special, a delicious caramel corn and snowballs. Let's see. Looks like 3 to 10 bags, maybe 25 cents. And here's this was in a local advertisement about Coke, even a 5-foot store. Coke was front and center. Once again, the Coke box. And his customers range from everybody, from the children up to, you know who this is. Bank President Leo Nielsen. Okay. And the business was a family business. His wife, Susie, ran it when he was out working in sporting events. So it literally was a family business. Daughters worked there with it. He also worked wrestling matches. Okay. And he built this himself to be used. Once again, the man was multi-talented. Carpenter, plumber, electrician. He built it.
Later.
Yeah.
25th later.
And he also was at a softball game until April 29, 1953. He wished to announce that he no longer has the concession of the softball diamond, but will serve the public as regular place of business and will be at the wrestling matches on Wednesday nights. That's the luck and success of the Gulfport Softball League. Now, that was his fixed business. Besides the wrestling matches, he also has mobile business, his trucks. This is used at the business hours at the beach at Jones Park, football games and softball games. So this was the first trucks he had. And we wonder who the two little girls are in front, don't we?
We grew up. Y'all aged a bit. Yeah, quite a bit.
Whoops. And there's the trucks along with the second stand there. And I believe that's him and his father Nathan. Looks like they're unloading the supplies from the truck. But what's interesting is when you look at them, look at the different uniforms they wore throughout the years. You don't see anything like that now with concessionaire vendors. The second truck. National Peanuts, basketball, Bay St. Louis, Gulfport High, fairgrounds. He was everywhere. Yeah. Okay. Okay, second truck, another shot in front of Coast Hardware where he was at. Football Friday nights, Jackson versus Gulfport. One who won that one.
Looks small now.
And some more shots. The third truck actually Look like a big enclosure on the back here. See, you have wrestling tonight, fight with gloves. Okay, that's a different kind of wrestling I've heard of. Fight with gloves. And then you have wrestling, more wrestlings. Every time they have wrestling matches, he advertised it on his vehicle. You go around driving and posting the wrestling matches as part of his agreement to be able to sell the concessionaire items there. Whoop. Third truck. Okay. This one right here is not you two.
No.
That's my wife.
That's right. My daughter.
Yes. Okay. And one time, he had two trucks. They're side by side. It's this truck right here in the back, and then the other one. So, well, it looks like maybe a trailer. There's actually two trucks parked side by side at that angle. And then everybody's got to be a ham and pull this right for the camera. That's his fourth truck. And once again, that's parked in front of Grider's shoes. So. Well, I can't figure out is when he stole all that stuff, you know, bought the snow cones for a nickel, like that.
They started out in the nickel.
How much did that into these parking meters? To park there. It's almost like every snow cone you've sold, that's another 15 minutes you could park. Unless he got an exception or a waiver. And if you look, you know, once again, this was general appliance store, beauty parlor store, then you had Frank's Place over the old Thomas building. So look at these photographs, I get a lot of history by looking at the backgrounds. And the last truck. And 15 August 1978, Mr. Welch passed away. His daughter, Mary, continued the business until 1986 when it was closed and dismantled. When it was closed, it wasn't left vacant, it was dismantled. So that's the end of her era. That's what it looks like now.
That's how wide it was. All that little space.
There was a lot of little that thanks to my space there. Bring back memories.
And what I'd like to read is, my wife wanted to be here, but she couldn't. So she sent a message here from me to read out to you about her recollections. I would love to have been there tonight, but unfortunately I can't be. I want to say a few things about my grandfather. I remember my grandfather always had a smile on his face. He was loved by everyone. I never heard a customer get angry with him. I remember him being generous with food. I was told my grandmother one time he gave more food away than he sold. However, God was good to our family and has always provided. My grandfather was a Christian man and never missed Sunday school or church. He served as the superintendent of Sunday school until his death. He was a prominent contributor to the First Assembly of God Church in Gulfport and physically built it. He loved to talk and was very social. I remember him carrying in 50 pounds of ice and large drums of Coca-Cola. I still remember the fragrant smell and sound of him popping popcorn. One of my favorite moments was when he made cotton candy and him shaving the ice with the old-fashioned ice shaver that he used to make the snowballs. I was just thinking about my grandfather the other day and how they wore those white aprons. I remember riding the snowball truck home from the football games at night in the dark and how fun it was. He was a small-built man, but a very strong man. He worked hard. He would work circles around you, and he begged out of his way when he was busy. He worked fast. I remember when the man used to bring the peanuts to the house in the big truck. My grandfather would have several cans and a peanut roaster in the backyard. He would roast the peanuts during the day, and we would have to bag them in the snowball stand downtown for the next day. I remember when he would rush home from church on Sundays, eat lunch, and jump in the truck and go to the beach to park. I remember seeing in the old truck. I still remember everything in that stand as it was when he was living, as if I just walked in the door right now. In about 1971, at family reunion, he brought the snowball truck out for all the relatives. They had a wonderful time. My grandmother worked side by side with him from the very beginning to the end. They were a perfect team. She worked with my mother until he closed it. The snowball stand was a family-owned and family-run business that was based off the golden rule. I never heard him raise his voice. I never saw him get mad, and I lived with him for 17 years. He was my grandfather. He was the only father figure I had. He was my pa. He taught me so much about growing up. He taught me how to work hard, how to work with the public, how to do carpentry, work, and so much more. But the most important he taught me about was Jesus. He lived by the golden rule. Thank you. And does anybody have any recollections they might want to share about Mr. Welch? Yes. He rented that small piece of land from Mr. Kramer. How much was the rent?
How much was the rent? They were very good to us, $15 a month. But Daddy built everything in there and furnished everything. And all the utilities Daddy paid. The Kramers were real good people. Very good people. And I went to school. My sister and I went to school with Henry. And my daughter went to school with Henry's daughter.
So, as you walk by the streets of 13th, you walk by 13th Street, and if it's quiet one evening, and you don't hear the sounds of the traffic, listen closely for the sound of popcorn popping about the storm. Thank you.